Welcome back to the
Yeah.
Nakama podcast. I'm here with Scrub Cruise. Almost didn't make it. It's actually very late. Some of us have
Very late.
schedules to keep. But
Yeah.
episode 2, Uzumaki. I feel like we should probably address the elephant in the room. Yes, the quality went kind of down, but at the same time, I don't think it impacts
It's
the story as much as everyone was making it out. Like CJ was like, "Oh, it's dog doo doo now," and everyone on the internet too was like, "They blew their budget." And it's kind of like, well,
Yeah, they're
if
like,
you're a
oh, it's
Junji Ito fan,
unwatchable. But
if you're a
it's
Junji Ito fan, that's kind of the norm with his works. Just like if you're a Space Marines Warhammer 40K, you just gotta accept all the games are ass. It's one of those life rules, dude.
but the thing is, like, I've seen so many people online complain, right? Like, it's unwatchable. Even CJ was like, I'm not even going to see this episode because I saw clips on the internet that look so bad. But like, the part that looks really really bad is like two scenes. The
Yeah,
beginning of it isn't as good as like it's overall it's not as good animated as the previous episode, but like you can tell that it's also probably like not just a money budget, but also a time budget reason for a couple of those looking bad. Because some of the earlier scenes, like when the girl's hair start going curly or the guy starts turning into a snail, like those don't look as off. It
yeah.
really
I
looks off like once they're on the beach towards the end, but like at
and
the
that's what I was
beginning,
gonna point
it's
out.
perfectly fine.
I think it's the limitations of the CGI that I kept bringing up
Hmm.
in the first episode. It's kind of like it's gonna look a lot worse. We're better than 2016 Berserk, but it's still not there. But again,
Yeah, it's
if
not
you're a
there.
Junjito fan, this was in
You're
your bingo
used to
card.
it.
That should have been on your list. Like it was gonna drop
Hmm.
at some point. But going over episode 2, we pick it back up with the snail boy. He's fully transitioned now. Woke of Ito to foresee transitioning. So far in the past to the future. It's crazy to think that he did that. But same with Oda. Oda did the same thing. But
Yeah, Oda
yeah,
did the same
snail
thing a
boy,
lot, actually. Probably more.
Oda or not Oda, fucking snail boy, snail. Um, they again combined a bunch of episodes or a bunch of chapters into this one
Hmm.
episode, and I'm more curious to see how long is this gonna last because half of the
4 episodes.
Uzumaki manga has already started, and some of it has finished.
Hmm.
There's only like
Yeah,
a handful left of
yeah.
chapters. I
There's,
mean, there's only
I believe the adaptation overall is supposed to be 4 episodes. It might be
oh,
6, but I want to say it was 4. I remember it being like it was going to be short.
okay. See, I was thinking like
Yeah,
12, and I was like, what the hell are they gonna do? But no, 4
yeah.
seems reasonable as hell.
Hmm.
Because this one continues like the first one where there's multiple stories going on at the same time, and it does kind of change my stance on Shuichi in general, because in the manga he's always kind of been like the straight man to me, the catalyst of everything, but he was there with Kyrie being like, this is what just is gonna happen, bro. And this one he kind of one leaves her when he notices the hair. And then
Yeah.
two, he's not really around. Like, sure, he does go back to save her with her hair, but for the most part,
Hmm.
he is MIA. And it does, to me, change the tone a little bit because now it doesn't seem like they are lovers and they're in this ride or die. Because now it kind of seems
Yeah.
like homegirl is by
The kids.
herself and he's like, yo, bro, what's going on?
Yeah, to me, it felt more like a realistic response. One, you have the guy who's saying like, "Okay, things are going pretty bad. Let's get the fuck out of here," and then his girl doesn't listen to him, and his response is to just, "Okay, I'm going," which
Right?
feels like more of a it feels like more of a human reaction, right? Like because people like to think they would stick around. I'm gonna fight, right? But I think in nine times out of 10, you put somebody in a dire situation like that, self preservation is where you're gonna go. And that to me, it felt like a more reasonable, especially since this kid's supposed to be like 15.
Yep.
Like you're bailing, yeah, of course. You're immediately gonna be like, oh man, that sucks for them. I'm out skis. Her hair is turning into snakes. I'm done. Like, yeah.
So we see the conclusion of the Snail Boy. The parents come, they're like, they ain't my kid. But another thing that was kind of, at least to me, kind of seemed a little bit ambiguous in the
Hmm.
Uzumaki is the bully turns into a snail, and it kind of seems
Correct.
like the victim impregnates him. Like in the manga, you do get kind of a little bit of impression that it's the victim impregnating the bully because snails don't
Yeah.
have genders. But this one just straight up kind of shows you, like, you see the victim just poking the other one, and next thing you know, there's baby eggs. So at least to me, it's like,
Hmm.
all right, cool. The bully, gets publicly shamed and gets turned into a snail. That's pretty cool.
The teacher was right, by the way. 100% smash those eggs. Not even a
Yeah.
hesitation. Just crush them. I don't know why the kids were like, "Oh, don't do it." Like, I get it's like a curse of the spiral thing. It's influencing them or whatever. But like, no, smash the eggs. 100%.
And then about the hair, we brought up the hair. This one also, the take that they go with the hair kind of seems like it is its own entity because
Hmm.
in the manga, it just starts happening, and she's kind of like, oh shit, I have to deal with this. But then the random friend somehow acquires this hair magic, and then they fight, which I'm pretty sure that was added for this, and then everyone was getting drawn into it too, which is kind of like,
Yeah,
okay, it, it
they're getting
seems like
hypnotized.
it seems like no, Shuichi wasn't the catalyst for this stuff. It was Kyrie, or whatever her name is, and it's kind of like, okay, I do like the changes for it so far.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I didn't think it was a bad episode. Animation aside, the rest of it was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, that I think what really did kind of make it weird is just the ending, because I want to say that like their version of Romeo and Juliet. I feel like that happens closer to the end of the manga, right? Like
Yeah,
after
yeah.
the lighthouse and everything.
I
So
want to say it does. Yeah.
yeah. So that one, I think, yeah, definitely you can see the dip in quality. But again, I want to say it's because of the CGI, which I'm always been a person with stands like it's terrible. Don't put it in, but
Hmm.
I guess it saves money.
I
And
mean,
again,
I can also understand why you would choose when you're talking about a property like this, where you have to animate things turning into a spiral. That's got to be kind of hard. I understand the decision. It's not perfect. It looks weird,
yep,
a little wonky sometimes.
100%. And to so the last two stories that they started and already somewhat finished. One of them is a cliffhanger. Is the Jackbox kid? That kid was
Hmm.
in and out of the story so fast you would have missed him and have been like, what the fuck happened with this kid? All of a sudden
Yeah,
he's like, I am Iron Man. Let me stand in front of this car, and I hope
he gets
they're going to
pulled into the
continue this
wheel well.
story. Yeah, well, I guess
Hmm.
both of them are left cliffhanger because if you've read the manga, you do know that kid's going to pop up at least one more time, and then they did the thing with the lighthouse, which also was left as cliffhanger, kind of like, do you just see them
Yeah,
falling, and that's the end of
and
the
that's it.
episode. So yeah,
You get the little
overall,
jump scare after the title at the end, but yeah,
yeah, overall, the animation sure was but still good episode. Still, I would rewatch this again.
oh yeah,
On Halloween when it's probably gonna be done. If it's only four.
I think so. I think that's probably just the plan.
Hmm. So, any closing thoughts before we end this? Little weekly update.
No, I mean I like it. I think a lot of people are putting too much emphasis on it not looking as good as the first episode. Um, but like that's the only problem for me. The rest of it I really liked.
Sam. Yeah, I didn't think it was as bad. It definitely was a dip, but not
Yeah,
crazy.